Alright, quick demo of what Autotune inside with a whoop in stabilize looks like. So I stopped it early because it got to angle P and all I need is the filth E setting. So once I've got that I can then do the detune on yours, so should be good. Alright, so a little video about Autotune that I did on this copter. Now, I'll just show you the Autotune parameters. I've done lots of things on Autotune. And the main thing is to get the filtering right, and I've sort of left that alone apart from the harmonic notch setup which I showed you earlier. So on a small copter like this, there's a couple of things you need to do. One is they tend to be quite low noise. You want the aggressiveness value set low, and so I've put this at 5% rather than 7.5%. That worked quite well. Like on a bigger copter you get a lot more noise, and so this wouldn't work so well, but you don't want this thing overtuned. And then you want to set min D, so the default is 0.0005, and I've set this now to 0.0003 because the Ds can get quite small on these small copters. And then the final thing is to do it an axis at a time. So roll followed by pitch followed by yaw, and then probably rinse and repeat. Now it turns out that was really quite hard. I was not confident enough in alt hold to use that, so I was basically auto tuning in my kitchen in in stabilize, which is a little bit scary. And of course, there's no position holding because I haven't got a GPS, and so it's a case of trying to fly the copter, keep it stable, and auto-tune in a small space. A little bit tricky. But let's get rid of this one and this one. But I did it. And I just wanted to sort of show you the little tricks that I use. So if you can get an axis to complete, great. You can land, auto-tune, saves the values, but sometimes that's not possible. And if you're very far off where you need to be, it can take a while to auto-tune, and I was certainly running out of battery before I could finish the auto-tune. So, but there is a way you can sort of cheat a little bit. So if I have a look at, so here's my auto-tune log for roll, and so you can see that I'm flying for like 5 minutes. And auto-tune is still not complete at this point, but so I didn't save any settings, but there's a way you can fix that. So if you go to data table and look at the a ton log, so this is auto-tune, and it shows you the axis, and then it shows you the tune step, and what you're looking for. So it does D followed by P followed by angle P, and so D is RD, so it's rate D, P is RP, rate P, then angle P is this SP, and then DDT is the acceleration. So if you can get it to complete D and P, you can use those values because angle P doesn't actually mess with D and P anymore. So it basically tunes up angle P and sets the acceleration. So what you're looking for is D reaching a stable value, which it kind of does. You can see, and then it moves on to tune step 1, which is P. And then you're looking for P reaching a stable value, which eventually does at the end of tune step 4. And then you can see these values are used by the angle P setting. And so what you can do is you can basically copy this final value at tune step 2 for P and D into P and D, and then I is a copy of P here. You might have to do it in the full parameter list to be able to enter these exact values, but you can basically copy these values in, and then if you then try and do angle P a little bit later, if you then do another tune, you should be starting from a better place, which means it should complete quicker. Now, the other thing you can do is you'll see angle P started to tune up here with quite a low acceleration. And this takes a little while as well, so you could guess. You could say, well, small copter, angle P is going to be at least 10, so maybe set angle P to 10. Acceleration might be, so you could guess a little bit. It depends whether you can reach the end of the tune or not. In the end, I didn't need to do that because once I'd sort of started with these values, I could then retune and reach the end of roll. And so I did that with roll and pitch. And then with yaw, you can use a similar trick. So with yaw, what you're looking for, so when you tune yaw, which is axis, so effectively 4, you're setting auto-tune axis to 4. The only thing you care about is the filter E value. And so, and that corresponds to RD. So I wonder whether I might have lost my log there. Let me just see if I can find the log. Yeah, it looks like I've lost the log, unfortunately. So, but just to recap, if you do a tune of your E, effectively, so this is with Autotune axes set to this one, so this is bit 1, 2, 3, so that corresponds to the value of 4. So if I set that, you'll see it's 4. The only value you care about is the fill E value, and so you can get that by looking at that RD value in the Autotune log before Autotune is finished. So I did that, and in my case, that came up with a value of 3.491686 hertz, which is quite high. Normally these are lower for bigger copters, but that's quite high. And once you've got that, you can then do a yaw detune, because that's the only value you need. And a reminder of yaw detune is this Autotune axis to 8, and then that will complete more quickly, because yaw D will retune the actual D value and the P value and the angle P value. So you don't need to go through that whole process for your E. So I did all of that. It was quite involved and got a little video, but these are the values they came up with. Now, fortunately for you guys, if you're trying this, that doesn't look correct. Somehow, let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so it's Mission Planner mess up. So these are the values I came up with. So high angle P for roll and pitch, a little bit lower for yaw, high excels, lower for yaw. I set yaw filter D to a quarter of the gyro frequency, and that seemed to work quite well. And these are the values they came up with, and this seems to be a pretty good tune. Now, I would expect this tune to work pretty well on any of these copters. So, unless you've got a slightly different weight, but it should be pretty good. So this is a good starting point for if anyone doesn't want to go through the rigmarole that I've had to go through, which I can understand why that might be. So yeah, so Autotune working well, and I'm in the kind of the final stages of the configuration of this. Before I try a little bit of flying, and also my mod to put the compass on. So thanks for watching.